Welcome to Speak Forward English, where we help you master the language with confidence.
Hey there! Welcome back to Speak Forward English. I'm Anna, and I'm so excited to be here with you today.
And I'm Jack. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We've got a really useful topic lined up for today.
We do. So before we dive in, if you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We post new English lessons every single day, and trust me, you don't want to miss out.
Absolutely. And today we're talking about a word that trips up a lot of English learners, the word could.
Oh yes, it seems simple, right? But there's actually so much to it.
Right. So where should we start?
Well, let's begin with the basics. Could is actually the past tense of can, but here's the thing, it's not always used to talk about the past.
Yeah, that's what confuses people. Like if I say, I could swim when I was 5, that's past tense, right?
Exactly. You're talking about an ability you had in the past. You were able to swim back then. That's the most straightforward use.
But then you can also say something like, could you help me with this? And that's not about the past at all.
Right. That's a polite request in the present. See, already we have two completely different uses.
So let's break this down one by one. First use, past ability. Can you give us another example?
Sure. How about when I was younger, I could run 5 miles without stopping. That shows I had that ability before, but maybe not now.
Good one. Or my grandmother could speak 4 languages fluently. Again, past ability.
Your grandmother sounds impressive.
She was. Okay, so that's past ability. But here's where it gets interesting. What about using could for possibility?
Oh yes, this is super common. When we want to say something is possible, we use could, like it could rain tomorrow.
So you're not saying it will rain, just that it's possible.
Exactly. There's a chance. Another example. She could be at the library right now. You're not certain, but it's one possibility.
Or this could be the best decision you ever make. Again, showing possibility, not certainty.
Perfect examples. And notice how different this is from the past ability meaning?
Totally different. So how do people know which meaning you're using?
Context is everything. If you're talking about the past, you'll usually have time markers like when I was young or yesterday or last year.
Right. And if you're talking about possibility, you might use words like maybe or perhaps, or you're clearly discussing future or present situations.
Exactly. Now let's talk about polite requests because this is so useful in everyday English.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite uses. Instead of saying, can you help me, which is more direct, you say, could you help me?
It's softer, more polite. Americans use this all the time. Could you pass the salt? Could you close the window? Could you send me that file?
And it works for asking permission too, right?
Absolutely. Could I borrow your pen is more polite than can I borrow your pen?
So basically, when you want to sound more polite or formal, switch from can to could.
That's a great rule of thumb. Though I should mention both are acceptable. Could just adds that extra layer of politeness.
Got it. Now, what about suggestions? I've heard people use could for that too.
Oh yes, great point. Like, we could go to the movies tonight. You're suggesting an option.
Or you could try calling him again. You're offering advice or a suggestion.
Exactly. It's gentler than saying you should call him. It leaves room for other options.
English is so nuanced.
It really is. Okay, here's another use that's a bit more advanced. Could for hypothetical situations.
Hypothetical. You mean like imaginary situations?
Right, things that aren't real or haven't happened. For example, if I had more time, I could learn Spanish.
Ooh, that's a conditional sentence, isn't it?
Look at you. Yes, it's a second conditional. You're imagining a different reality. Let me give you another one. If I were rich, I could buy a yacht.
But you're not rich, so you can't buy a yacht. It's just imagination.
Exactly. Sadly, no yacht for me.
Same here. So could appears in these if sentences a lot.
Yes, especially in the second and third conditionals. Like, if she had studied harder, she could have passed the exam.
Wait, could have. That's different from just could, right?
Oh, good catch. Yes, could have is used for past possibilities that didn't happen. It's talking about missed opportunities or things that were possible but didn't occur.
So I could have been a doctor means it was possible for you to become a doctor, but you didn't.
Exactly. Maybe I chose a different career or I didn't pursue it. The opportunity was there, but it didn't happen.
That's kind of sad, actually.
It can be, but sometimes it's just stating facts, like we could have taken the highway, but we took the scenic route instead.
Oh, so it's not always negative, just showing an alternative that didn't happen.
Right. Another example. He could have won the race, but he tripped near the finish line.
So close. Okay, so could have plus past participle for past possibilities. Got it.
Perfect. Now let's talk about something that confuses learners, the difference between could and was able to.
Oh, I've wondered about this. Aren't they the same?
Not quite. They're similar, but there's a subtle difference. For general abilities in the past, they're usually interchangeable.
So I could swim when I was 7, and I was able to swim when I was 7. Both work, right?
Yes, both are fine. But here's where it changes. For specific achievements or single events, we usually prefer was able to.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Imagine you're talking about escaping from a burning building. You'd say, I was able to escape through the window, not I could escape through the window.
Interesting. So for one-time specific successes, use was able to.
Exactly. Though in negative sentences, couldn't works fine. I couldn't escape is perfectly natural.
English is tricky.
It is, but you're getting it. Now let's talk about could in indirect speech or reported speech.
Oh boy, reported speech always confuses me a bit.
It's okay. So imagine someone says to you, I can help you tomorrow. If you're telling someone else what they said, you'd use could.
So you'd say, she said she could help me tomorrow.
Exactly. The can changes to could in reported speech. It's part of that back shift in tenses.
Makes sense. It's like how will becomes would, right?
Yes, you've got it. The tense shifts back when you're reporting what someone said.
Okay, so if someone said, I could meet you at 6 and I'm reporting it, would it stay as could?
Good question. Yes, it would stay as could. You'd say, he said he could meet me at 6. Since it's already in the past form, it doesn't change.
Got it. Now, what about using could for expressing criticism or annoyance?
Oh, yes, the passive-aggressive could. You know, like when someone says, you could have called me.
Yeah, that definitely sounds annoyed.
Right? It's implying that you had the ability and opportunity to call, but you didn't, and the speaker is upset about it.
Or you could help me with the dishes instead of just sitting there.
Exactly. That's definitely expressing frustration. The tone really matters with these.
So context and tone are super important for understanding could.
Absolutely. English relies so much on context. The same word can mean different things depending on how you say it and what's happening around it.
True. Now, before we run out of time, we should mention could in questions, right?
Yes, we touched on polite requests, but there are other types of questions, like, could that be true? You're questioning whether something is possible.
Or could he really have said that? You're expressing doubt or surprise.
Exactly. And these questions often show that you're skeptical about something.
Hmm. What about rhetorical questions with could?
Oh, good one. Like, could life get any better? You're not really asking for an answer.
Or could this day get any worse? Usually said when things are going badly.
Right. Those are rhetorical. You're making a statement more than asking a question.
So many uses. Let's see. We've covered past ability, possibility, polite requests, suggestions, hypotheticals, could have, and questions.
And reported speech and expressions of criticism. It's a lot.
It really is. You know what might help our listeners? Some practice sentences.
Great idea. Let's do a few, and listeners can try to identify which use of could it is.
Okay, first one. When I lived in Japan, I could see Mount Fuji from my apartment.
That's past ability. You were able to see it when you lived there.
Right. Next one. Could you turn down the music, please?
That's a polite request. You're asking someone to do something.
Good. How about this? She could be stuck in traffic. That's why she's late.
That's expressing possibility. You're offering a possible explanation for why she's late.
Exactly. Okay. If I won the lottery, I could quit my job.
Hypothetical situation, second conditional. You're imagining what would be possible if something else happened.
Nice. One more. You could have told me you were going to be late.
Ooh, that's expressing criticism, and it's could have, so it's about a past possibility that didn't happen. The person is annoyed.
You're really good at this.
Well, I should be. Okay, let's talk about some common mistakes learners make with could.
Yes, please. What should people watch out for?
Well, one common mistake is using could when you mean can for presentability, like saying, I could speak English, when you mean you can speak it now.
So if you're talking about a current ability, stick with can?
Right. I can speak English is present. I could speak English when I was younger is past.
What about mixing up could and would?
Oh, yes, that happens a lot. Would is about willingness or habitual actions, while could is about ability or possibility.
So I would help you means you're willing to help, but I could help you means you're able to help.
Exactly. Though sometimes they can both work, they have slightly different meanings.
Another mistake, forgetting the have in could have. I've heard people say could of, which isn't correct.
Oh, yes. Could of is actually a mistake. It sounds like could have, which is the contraction of could have, but could of isn't grammatically correct.
So always write could have or could have, never could of.
Exactly. That's a really common writing mistake, even among native speakers.
Good to know. What about pronunciation? Any tips there?
Well, could is pronounced like could, not cowled. The L is silent.
Right, it rhymes with good and would.
Yes, and couldn't is couldn't. Make sure not to pronounce that L.
And when you're speaking quickly, could you often sounds like could ya or could ya.
True. That's very common in casual speech. Could you help me instead of could you help me?
So listeners should know that when they hear native speakers, it might sound different from how it's written.
Absolutely. Listening to natural English is so important for picking up these patterns.
Speaking of which, if you're enjoying this lesson and want more daily English practice, don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, we post new conversations and lessons every day to help you improve your listening and speaking skills.
Okay, back to could. Let's do a few more advanced examples.
Sure. How about this? He couldn't have been more helpful. What does that mean?
It sounds like he was extremely helpful, like it wasn't possible for him to be more helpful than he was.
Exactly. It's a way of emphasizing how helpful he was. I couldn't be happier means I'm extremely happy.
Oh, that's interesting. So it's almost like a superlative.
Yes, very similar. It's expressing the maximum degree of something.
What about I could eat a horse?
That's an idiom. It means you're extremely hungry. You're exaggerating to make a point.
Right, you couldn't actually eat a horse, but it feels like you could.
Exactly. English has lots of these exaggerated expressions with could.
Like, I could sleep for a week when you're really tired.
Perfect example. Or I could cry when you're very emotional or touched by something.
These are great for making your English sound more natural and expressive.
Definitely. Now, let's talk about could with other modal verbs. Oh, wait, actually, you can't use two modal verbs together.
Right, you can't say could might or could should.
Exactly. If you need to express multiple ideas, you have to rephrase. Instead of could should, you might say probably should or use different structures.
That's an important grammar point. One modal verb per verb phrase.
Right. Though you can say might be able to, because be able to isn't technically a modal verb.
English grammar is so specific.
It is, but once you understand the patterns, it gets easier.
So, let's summarize for our listeners. What are the main takeaways about could?
Great idea. First, could is the past tense of can, used for past abilities.
Second, it expresses possibility in the present or future.
Third, it makes requests and questions more polite.
Fourth, it's used for suggestions and hypothetical situations.
And fifth, could have talks about past possibilities that didn't happen.
That's a lot of uses for one little word.
It really is, but that's what makes English rich and expressive. The same word can do so many different things.
And context tells you which meaning is intended.
Exactly. Pay attention to the time frame, the tone, and the surrounding words.
Any final tips for our listeners?
Yes, practice using could in your own sentences. Don't just memorize examples, create your own.
And listen to how native speakers use it in movies, podcasts, and conversations.
Like this one.
Exactly. And remember, making mistakes is part of learning. Don't be afraid to try.
Absolutely. The more you use it, the more natural it will become.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up today's lesson.
I agree. Thanks so much for listening, everyone.
If you found this helpful, please subscribe to Daily English Listening for more lessons like this one.
We'll see you tomorrow with another topic. Until then, keep practicing.
And remember, you could be fluent in English sooner than you think.
Nice use of could there.
Thanks. All right, everyone. Take care.